of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, special town council meeting, February 2nd, 2026. Roll call, Jason Little.
Here.
Patricia Ball is absent. Kevin Burke.
Here.
Michael Johannes.
Here.
Brian Warren.
Here.
Also present, Clerk Treasurer Jane Lindsay, Attorney Kevin Patmore, and Max Meyer, Fire Chief.
Okay. We're going to pause our meeting for a minute so we can get something off the printer.
You can talk about it while I'm gone if you want.
Get down there today?
Yes.
So, just, doesn't have really been any town, but I believe there's 4 Republicans registered for this year's council election, which means there will be a primary in May. And there's still time till Friday at noon for people to sign up, so, but already there's 4 people signed up.
Has anybody signed up on the other party?
Not that I know of. There was not last Friday when I talked to them.
I'm not filing.
Huh?
I'm not filing.
Uh,
You'll keep your job as far as I'm concerned.
You need the good old one, like,
Do we have an agenda for this evening in certain
We
order?
do not, so you can go in whichever order you want.
I think we should go with the matter of what originally brought us here first.
Okay.
The, last week's pay
Yes.
for the people.
So what we have on the meetings discussion tonight is paying emergency pay to the employees for last week's snow emergency situation. I had asked Kevin to draft a resolution for that, and I believe he's got a couple different options to present.
You know, when Jen and I talked last week, she talked about doing PTO days for those employees, because that's essentially what your other employees got that the town hall was closed for. But then she indicated that there was also, maybe somebody mentioned to her about paying them for 2 days of extra work, basically.
The people who actually work.
The people who actually work, to give them, if they were, each day they didn't work when the town hall was closed, give them 8 hours of additional pay in addition to their pay that they actually receive for working. So I kind of prepared it. I didn't know, because most of those guys probably were thrown into overtime, which means they're going to get time and a half for some of those hours anyway. So I prepared it 3 different ways. One, to give them just 2 PTO days that they can take anytime they want.
Wait a minute, who are you talking about?
People who did work.
Who did work?
If they did work, then they're going to, but everybody else, I just gave them, didn't do anything, because what she's gonna do is she's going to pay them. Well, let me think how this works. If they did not perform work, then they're going to be paid for their scheduled pay, just pay it basically,
Yeah.
kind of like a PTO day.
Right.
They're just back, so they're gonna get paid.
They're gonna get paid.
If they did
They're not
not.
gonna get PTO.
Well, they're essentially getting that's how she's getting treated, she's getting treated.
Okay, I want to make sure I.
People who did not work because the town closed its facilities are
We'll
going to
get 2 PTO days.
well, they're gonna get paid.
They're gonna,
They're
yeah,
gonna get paid for their scheduled work periods.
But
Right.
That's when.
they'll get paid for the time they were scheduled to work.
Just like if they was here.
Without having to use a PTO day. So the people who did not work
I understand.
get paid.
And I don't agree with it, but go on.
People who did work, there's 3 options. One, just give them an additional PTO day that they can use anytime they want. 2, you pay them for their regular pay and then just add, for guys who work both days, 16 hours. If a guy only worked one day, then give them 8 hours of additional pay. Which that means that if they were thrown into overtime, they'll get essentially double time and a half for their work that they did. Or you give them 8 hours for each day they worked, but count that toward the time and a half, which means they'll basically get double time for any time that they worked. And then if they worked over, it depends on how it works out, it's not far as how many. In other words, basically if they worked 52 hours this week, 12 of those hours, they're gonna get double time for, and then the others they'll get that extra 4 hours of additional pay at straight time, because it counts against their overtime. Because you don't have to pay them overtime if you're paying them this extra pay anyway.
I was under the impression that we could not offer time off outside of the pay period.
You can't do flex
You can't.
time outside of this pay period.
Yeah, you can't do.
But you
flex
can
time.
award additional PTO days,
Yeah,
which
you
is
can.
what Horry County did. So,
You'll still pay them time and a half then, for if they worked over 40 hours. If a guy worked 50 hours this week, he's gonna get 10 hours at time and a half. 40 hours straight time. And then he'll have, if you just grant them additional 2 PTO days, they can take off any time during the year, and get paid for it. So it's not flex time. Flex time is where if somebody works, if on Wednesday you realize a guy's worked 4 hours over and you gotta keep him in 40 hours so you don't have to pay overtime, you give him 4 hours off on Thursday or Friday or something. So it keeps him down to his 40 hours. Because it's not by a day. If a guy works 10 hours in a day, you make up for that 2 hours with flex time sometime later in the week by giving him 2 hours off so it only comes under 40 hours. Here, your options are, and they don't, I mean, it's PTO, you can either give PTO days later in the year, whenever they want to use them.
or
Pay
pay it
them-
outright on
Pay
this.
them overtime, plus give them an additional 8 hours of pay, so they get double time and a half. Or you give them the time but count against any overtime they have. So they get double time versus double time and a half.
I'm gonna say what I think should happen and then I get booed, but that's all right. I think the people who didn't work on those days because we were closed should get PTO, which means they're gonna get paid. They're gonna get paid for not being here. They're getting PTO time. That's it. I've never worked for a company that would have paid us ever on top of PTO, would never have paid us.
Well, that's all they're getting is, they're just not being charged with a PTO day.
Well,
They're just getting paid for nothing.
You're wanting them to use a PTO day for those days.
Yeah,
Okay.
which, when you don't, they get paid for those days, right?
Yeah, but you're forcing them to take a PTO day by closing.
Which not
That's,
say personal day,
yeah, you're forcing them to take one of their personal days
because we were closed.
because the town decided not to open the town hall. Which means if they'd already planned ahead and thought, I'm gonna take my birthday off, my kid's birthday, or I'm gonna take 2 extra days on top of my vacation. Because the town closes facilities, you're making them burn 2 of their PTO days. That's the only shortfall to that. It's from a policy, I mean, legally, you can do anything you want for a
Right.
concert. But from a policy standpoint, that's the argument is, hey, you made me, I didn't want to take a PTO day. I could have driven here, got a 4-wheel drive, I would have been happy to be at work. Because I knew nobody was gonna be here because the roads were closed. So, it would have been a great day for me to work.
So actually, if you're doing that, then and you're paying them for 2 days. You're paying them
Yeah.
for 2
You're
days.
giving them, yeah, you're basically giving them an extra PTO day for the year, is what you're doing. Two PTO days by saying, we're not gonna make you use a PTO day, we're gonna pay you because we decided to close down.
That's the way I thought, I understood when I talked to you last week.
Mhm.
That we were gonna pay people, if they were supposed to be here, we were gonna pay them for the wages for the day.
Right,
Okay, and then the people that we require to come in for snow removal or any other water activity that we had an emergency do, we were gonna pay those people the regular day and also pay them again, and if they had overtime, we'd pay them overtime.
right, which is what I conveyed to Kevin after I spoke with him today, that was what was conveyed to me, is that the people who did not come to work would get paid. The people who came to work would also get paid for the 8 hours on top of the time that they worked,
Correct.
which is what he's saying, double time and a half.
Yeah, but the question is whether you do it with overtime and then just give them an extra, are you just going to give them an additional 8 straight hours after you compute their time and a half if they worked over 40 hours? Or whether you don't have to do that, because if you're giving them this, what essentially is a bonus payment of 8 hours for the day, or 16 hours for the week, are you going to say, well, we're not gonna pay you time and a half for those hours that you actually worked over 40 hours this week because we're giving you an extra 2 days pay here? So we're gonna net it out, so you get paid double time if you actually worked on those days.
What we do on holidays again, if I have somebody come in when it's a holiday, we're gonna pay them additional hours. correct?
They get paid double time.
Double time. That's what I thought we would be doing.
Right.
Okay, so let's go back again. I'm not understanding over here, I'm not trying to be a pain, but.
No.
If they couldn't come in, we're gonna pay them their straight 8 hours for both days that they were here.
And then,
That's it,
and when
right?
they're done.
Yeah, that's
Finished.
it.
And then the guys that work,
No-
we're just gonna get an
there's no
extra 8-hour day. for-
PTO or anything involved in that after that.
No.
Right, they're just getting
They're just
paid
getting
for,
paid.
like they
They're just
were,
getting paid.
Without
like
being
they were
charged.
here, but
Without
they're
being
not.
charged.
Like they were here, okay, I'm fine with that.
which is already in the budget anyway. That's not gonna
Okay.
affect the budget at all.
That's fine, okay, so I agree with that part. So if you have guys who are coming in to run those snow plows and stuff, the first thing we have to do is give them the 8 hours that we're giving them to make it even.
Right.
We're giving them, if they came in on Saturday and Sunday or whatever days it was, but they're gonna
Monday and
start out
Tuesdays.
with 8 hours,
Right,
period.
right.
Okay. All right, now, if they work overtime, then I think that overtime should only apply to the actual hours that they worked. Not,
Right,
not
which-
including those.
It would not include those 8 because they didn't work those 8.
Okay, all right.
They would be getting that like a holiday. So like if they have to work on Christmas, they still get paid
Right.
the 8-hour holiday for Christmas, but that's not computed into the hours worked for
Okay.
their actual overtime hours. So
You
the
don't pay them
overtime hours,
You don't pay them overtime on the 16 hours that you're giving.
Right.
I'm assuming they work both days, because I think most of them probably did. So you're giving them 16 hours of
But
pay.
on the work days, the time that they actually work, that's
So
the
the-
hours I work.
Well, the question is, so a guy works, just for example, 52 hours. Anything over 40 hours normally, you gotta pay time and a half. But you're actually giving him pay for 56 hours of work. So the question is, if a guy worked for 52 hours, do you wanna pay him time and a half for the 12 hours that he worked over 40? Or because you're paying him for 16 hours at double time, 2 days, you're giving him double time.
I think that's the part that's.
You wouldn't have to pay time and a half for those because you're giving him double time for those. Do you want to pay him time and a half and then give him an additional 16 hours on top? In other words, the guy who works 52, you want to give him 40 hours at straight time for the hours actually worked, 12 hours at time and a half, and then give him an additional 16 hours for the work.
And we would have to do that to be fair for what we're doing with the other guys, with the people in the office. you're putting the two times together, that's, I'm trying to separate. They're getting paid for 16 hours, okay?
Right,
The guys that come in, 16 hours, that's over here.
right,
Now, they work 16 or 20 hours, whatever, these hours ought to get overtime for the ones that
So
are
he wants-
above 16 hours. So if they worked 24 hours in those 2 days, we got this over here, and so that's, we paid the
Or it may not have
overtime.
been if they only worked 8 hours on Monday and Tuesday, but they decide, you know, on Wednesday or Thursday, they worked overtime. It may not have been on those 2 days.
What?
We're just talking for the week.
right.
So are you counting those 16
No,
hours in?
You're not counting for, you're not giving them overtime comp. In other words, if a guy only worked 40 hours
Right.
a week, you're not giving him time and a half for the 16.
Or you shouldn't be giving them time and a half for anything.
right,
Well, no, you
exactly.
would give him time and a half for anything.
Right.
That's what I'm saying, you could actually go up to, anybody that worked up to 56 hours, you don't have to pay them time and a half. The question is, do you want to pay them time and a half for anything they worked in excess of 40 hours for the week? Because you're giving them this additional 16 hours for the pay. That's what it boils down to.
Well, I think they should get overtime based on how much they work those.
Yeah, for hours, you get the overtime for the hours worked,
Actually,
and then
Work during the
another
week.
line down of 16 hours at straight time.
Okay,
yeah.
that's, I just want,
Yes.
yeah. I
Pay
just-
for hours worked, and then 16 hours of straight time.
Okay.
And then the office ladies, they'll just get a regular paycheck.
Yeah, that's a regular paycheck.
Right. I agree.
I agree.
Okay, so need a motion
Wait a
Uh,
second.
make
I got
a mo-
res- I got a resolution to that effect. Wait, let me figure out, I've got 3 different versions here. Okay, I have for you, for your consideration, resolution 2026-02, resolution of the town councils, the town of Santa Claus, Indiana, concerning winter weather emergency. That recites the factual scenario that the governor declared a proclamation, the county commissioners issue a red travel warning. And so you are resolving by this that the town council hereby declares that emergency conditions exist in the town of Santa Claus, Indiana on January 25th, 2026 and January 26th, 2026. All town employees who were scheduled to perform services for the town on January 26th and or January 27th, 2026, who did not perform services due to the town's closure of facilities shall be paid for their regular scheduled periods of work at their respective pay rates. And any and all employees who were required to work on January 26th, 2026 and or January 27th, 2026, due to the emergency, shall be paid an additional 8 hours of pay for each day worked on January 26th, 26.
Okay.
So it's given, they get their regular paycheck plus. They work Monday, they get 8 more additional hours, they work Tuesday.
And they get, if those hours have overtime.
That's automatic. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
All right.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2026-02 as read by the town council and the town attorney.
Second. First from Jason, a second from Brian. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
None, it passes 4-0. Also, I would like to first, for another discussion at another day, is that we address this problem where possibly we can offer flex time for additional hours versus pay.
So I did talk to Kevin about extending the flex time from per week to per pay period. But he's looking into it, but he believes that by law, we can't do that.
Okay.
But he's gonna look into it.
Okay.
Yeah, your flex time is basically, like I said, if a guy works 10 hours on Monday, in fact, your employment manual, you told your supervisor, try to do this, keep people from having overtime. So during that, the 40-hour work week, you're pretty much set in stone on, except for the police, which you don't have to necessarily follow. But you basically give them 2 hours off sometime. That's what flex time is. Comp time is something broader.
Can we offer comp time instead?
Not for normal employees. For police, you can.
When we were talking about the emergency declaration and what the town council president's authority is, and I made a decision about how we have handled it sometimes with, I know. So I think we need to come up with the ordinance that you were talking about, to give the town council president that authority in an emergency situation. I mean, I can tell you what we did when we had COVID. I did, closed all the buildings to the public. And then I authorized, we had a chance to purchase, and I hope these are still around here someplace, 10,000 COVID masks. They should be here someplace. We didn't pass anywhere close to that out. We got them at a really cheap price through EMA and EMS.
I will look for those,
And
but,
then when we came back, the council took a vote approving what I did in those emergency situations. And that's the reason I said that. So if we need an ordinance,
Yeah, there's actually an ordinance that gives, you can give Jane, the clerk treasurer, the right to make payments in advance of whenever we did,
Right.
when there's an emergency. I'll get you the laundry list of things that you all can ponder on what you would like for her to be able to pay without having to go through this if it comes up again.
okay. All right. That's,
Anything else on similar situation? Subject? Okay, we're having some heating issues with a facility of ours, the fire station. And Max obtained 2 estimates so far, and you're still waiting on another one?
Well, if we want him to do it, he can have it done tomorrow.
That wasn't my question. Did we ask for another estimate from?
He came today and he said there's no way he could get it done tonight.
Okay. So he's not gonna submit one, or?
If we decide tonight on anything, he will not submit one.
To me, he either needs to submit or not submit.
he said he was gonna submit tomorrow, right?
He would have it in the morning. If we wait till next Monday to make, you guys would wait to make your decision, that's up to you. I can have another estimate by next week.
Okay.
So I did contact Maringer, they never came. Well, you have Good Orbs, you have RGs, and Halsman came today.
Okay.
So that's who I made contact with.
so what is the current situation in the fire department?
It's running on emergency heat, on heat strips, forced air. So it's just sitting there running and
So the
running
Baron's
and
just
running.
spinning out the electric meter right now.
Yeah, yeah. So we've got 60 degrees in the one part and 50 degrees in the base.
Which is fine.
Yeah, nothing's gonna freeze there.
Okay.
I send each of you RG's email today, you should have got it, it's his recommendation, what we should do. He says we're undersized unit, in there, you can read it, it explained all. And then you have a good
Who
order,
put the original one in?
huh?
Who put the original one?
Good order. And we spend, Jane pulled all the bills since 15, we've spent like $10,000. Since-
A few years ago, I went back and done a little bit of research on that system, and I won't fill you in publicly, but yeah, there's a story behind that system when the fire station was built.
That was a water heater, I mean.
Geothermal unit.
Yeah.
To the radiant, and he used Freon. So 2019, Maringer did come and he noted, I've got all the paperwork, that there was a leak. And then in 2020, Goodorf came in and recharged the system. So I guess over time, that all leaked out. So we got, what, 5 years?
So
That's still the original, was it Earthworks?
Earthlink.
Earthlink, yeah.
Earthlink.
Yeah, we know where that came from.
Mm-hmm.
So, just so I understand, is this putting in completely new units, or is these quotes for trying to fix that?
You can read Godor's note, he wants to keep, the unit will replace unit 1. The new unit. And he wants to keep,
Let's-
The geothermal.
Can we discuss this, if we go accept another bid?
Are you going to accept another quote?
I don't know.
What was what were the specs for the quotes? I mean, you all can do anything you want as far as the town council's concerned.
Okay.
You don't
just-
have to bid this.
Okay, I just don't want.
Did you solicit quotes from 3 people? And I'll let
well, the
you-
third one will be coming.
But did you give them a time and everything?
Well, I told him tonight.
But he said he's gonna be presenting it in the morning. He
You
had
can
had it
have
by
it in the
morning.
morning, Holzman.
But you should wait if you're going to entertain another quote.
But first, I wanna know what would be quoted, that's what I'm asking, are they gonna completely tear the old system out?
That the RG wants to use, you can read his cover letter. Let me read it. His recommendation to completely switch over the existing ground loop based refrigerating system. We recommend installing an NFC 200H combi boiler. The size of the unit is larger than your everyday boiler due to the total square footage requiring heat. The suggested boiler from a competitor seems to be undersized. The current hypnotic piping utilizing zone dampeners where we recommend zone pumps. We should be able to reuse the existing manifolds, although if there is money in the budget, we would recommend replacing with stainless steel ones with individual valves, bleeders, and adjustments, and etc. The current manifolds are plastic and non-adjustable. Since the introduction of the shower and the bathroom to the upstairs now, we plan to utilize the same boiler to generate domestic hot water. The current electric water heater seems to be too small for all the fixtures it serves. The price includes all gas, condense, hypnotic piping along with associated electrical wiring set up front for a turnkey price. It is also RG's recommendation to replace the current AC system. We think it's best to completely do away with the Earthlink technology system. Due to the investigation of the floor plans, we found the facility has around 2,400 square foot on the first floor, with an additional 1,200 square foot on the second floor. The total square footage for this space seems to suggest a 6/9 ton cooling capacity depending on how many square footage per ton you want to figure. The current AHU seems to be 3.5 ton and is greatly undersized for this space. With the removal of the Earthlink system, the AHA will do nothing except move heat and air within a 10 kW heat strip. The bare minimum, we suggest replacing the system with a 5-ton system. The new system will be a split system, air handler coil inside, the heat pump outside. We suggest installing a 2-stage with a unit control, zone dampeners, and properly serve the main and second floor. Again, this price includes all piping, ducting, and electrical necessary for a turnkey price. Sorry I couldn't make the meeting tonight. You can email questions or call.
Okay, so on this one, on his, RG Mechanical, are those 2 different quotes, I mean, is the total?
That if we just want to do the heat. The top one is just doing the heat, the next one would be doing the heat, the air.
So the total of this is basically $30,000,
Yes.
okay? So this one's only 11,000, so what?
That's,
What are you talking about doing here?
with the 11,000, which you did charge tax on there again. They want to put this NAVIN, describes it up on top what they want to do. The unit will replace unit 1, which is a 6-ton geothermal compressor. They want to keep unit 2, it's a 4-ton geothermal unit, will be disconnected from the radiant floor heat system, but still provide forced air heating and cooling for the office area. It don't say anything about the upstairs, it says the office area. The unit will replace the existing electric water heater for domestic hot water, which it says on the back too, there's a message. We're talking about existing unit 1, the new unit. So they want to keep one of the old units and put a new unit. And what RG is saying, it's undersized, it won't keep up.
Have we had any trouble with the keeping up during the summertime?
Not right now, not here lately, I mean,
The past number of years? haven't we?
no. But Goodart wants to be paid 50% upfront.
Yes, I was gonna note that on the back, under the customer notes, it actually says 40%.
40%, she said 50.
It
So-
says that the payment terms are 40% due upon acceptance of the quote. So they're wanting us to prepay and they're not happy about us not prepaying, which we cannot prepay. I mean, we can't pay for services we have not received. I mean,
Well, I've got some issues here. Go
So-
ahead and finish what you got to say.
well, I'm just saying that
I
that's
have-
in their terms, but we have to take that out. We cannot prepay for services we have not yet received. So, I
I
mean,
told her that too on the phone.
so I don't know how they're gonna,
Okay, so what, does RG Mechanical have their guarantees on your warranties?
We can call him. He's available for a call.
I mean, I see a problem with you're not, these two don't quote the same thing.
right?
Well, it's,
We need to come up with specs for what we want done, and then spec it, and then quote it out, because neither one of these do not quote the same
yeah,
thing.
these are not apples and apples, these
One
are
of them's,
apples.
one of them's a two, right here at the very top, one of them's a 40,000 BTU, one's 250. One of them includes removal of the existing stuff and taking it away, this, Goodor's does not say anything about that.
So, can I explain here?
This one
I
includes
think I
tying
got a
into
graph
your
on what's happening here. On this one, on the $11,000 one, we're gonna lose our heated floor. It's in the truck bay part. We're gonna go to a forced air, which is very inefficient. You got a heated floor system, it's the most efficient system you can have. It heats the concrete, the air radiates up. With this, we're gonna get a forced air system that's gonna blow air down from the ceiling. On the heated floor system, you open that bay door up, as soon as you close it, it's back to that temperature instantly. With forced air, we gotta heat all that space again.
You sure he's not connected to that?
It's-
With
It
that
said-
boiler?
No,
It
it
says that unit number 2, 4-ton geothermal will be disconnected from radiant floor heating.
And going to a forced air, I read forced air here somewhere.
Yeah, it's right
Yeah, we're
there.
going to a forced air heating and cooling.
That's what we're running now, forced air.
And with our track record on this geothermal systems in there, I think we should get it totally away from geothermal over there, because do we know if the pipes and stuff in the ground were ran correctly? I mean, look at the botched job they did on installing the system. Do you think the geothermal system under the ground's any better? No. So I think we should stay totally clear of this geothermal system down here. It's,
They can still run radiant heating with a boiler.
exactly, yeah. I'm talking about
Oh, okay,
the
that's what I said.
system that produces
Right.
the heat.
Yeah,
The
but
geothermal, no, actually, no. I'm all for keeping the radiant system in the floor and running it with a gas boiler.
Yeah.
But I am not even, I don't want to even look at that one, anything geothermal down there anymore.
Okay, so we need to have maybe the two of you, or someone sit down and can write the spec and then send these bid requests back out. Right?
Well, yeah, come up with what you actually want done,
Yeah.
not just, I think basically what's here is Goodorf told you what they thought should be done, RG told you what but they're not saying the same thing, so you're not really specing the same job.
I think we should totally get away from geothermal down there. Folks, we don't know, we fixed this part of the system, but we don't know what's under the ground, you know, the tubes and stuff that run in the ground, you know, to do the heat exchange. We don't know what kind of shape it's in, was it botched as bad as what the original Earthlink system was?
I think it's pressure, they should have a pressure test on it. Like the radiant loops, they should have.
I don't know.
So.
I think I need to get an engineer involved and have,
Well, the engineer's the one who inspected it whenever it was built. We paid an inspector to inspect it as it was built.
He should run radiant heat here, because it says the new radiant thermostats for all zones.
I don't understand exactly what they're doing, because they, like, they're.
So the
looking at
geothermal
the
unit
water
will be
system.
disconnected from radiant floor heating system, but will still provide forced air.
But then the boiler's going to heat the floor yet, the way out.
Yeah, it does say estimate includes new radiant thermostats.
So I'm thinking it's, you're going to have the option of force air if you needed it. I don't know, that's something, I guess we need to spec.
Like I said, RG's, it doesn't say anything about.
Okay, yeah, they're-
RG says they're disposing of the old stuff, Gudorf doesn't say they're disposing of the old stuff. RG says, or Gudorf says they are connecting, and you can see the copper fittings on here for connecting to the water supply, because you're gonna replace your hot water heater. RG doesn't say anything about, or doesn't have anything about connecting to the water supply for your hot water.
Who's supposed to have one for,
Holzman, from Ireland.
Are they basing theirs on one of these, or are they just?
They came down today and they looked it over, so
So they're gonna come up with something completely.
they're gonna come something,
You can't do that.
Okay, that Navion, or Margin Mechanical, that Navion system has the hydronic heating and domestic hot water boiler together in a combo unit.
I think it's the same they're both Navions, I think.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, so it's the same,
They're different units. One of them's one of them at the very beginning,
One's
it's
250.
240 and one of them's 250, so they're different units of some kind.
And it says here that they're gonna tie into the existing floor heat manifolds.
Yeah.
Well, I think
RG says they're tying in the floor manifolds,
Mhm.
but RG's, I don't think Gudorf's is.
No, they said they were
Get the thing from
disconnecting.
tomorrow and then take all this information and we find somebody that actually knows. I don't know anything about heating.
that's why I don't know HVAC.
And have somebody's right specs, but we can then send out
Yeah.
all these people again.
Just so it don't get cold and freeze those pipes in the concrete, then we're gonna be digging up concrete.
Well, all the temperatures now are going back up, so.
Well-
Next week it's supposed to be in the 50s.
I've had a lot of sleepless nights worrying about that
It should be.
heat down here.
What's it not, so is the loop, the geothermal loop broken or what?
There's no freon in the system.
Oh.
And that's what we had before.
We had the wrong freon in to begin with.
We had the wrong freon in there.
It locked the system up. Well, they got rid of all the wrong freon and put all the new freon. So it ran from 12 to 20, kept locking up. It run, stop, had to reset it, run. So it probably took some life off that system, I'd say. You know, basically deadheaded it. It ran and just
The
bam.
Freon's a gas, right?
Yeah.
So there's no liquid in those tubes.
Right, there's copper, everybody knows the backside, there's copper, there's wells. And then all those copper lines come into the,
But if it's gas, not liquid in there, it wouldn't freeze up.
I don't know that.
Well, there's water in the,
Freon?
there's water in the tubes in the floor that provide the heat.
So can you breathe in that or just water?
It should be antifreeze, it should be good. It should be like RV antifreeze or a 50-50 mix in there if it was.
So that was a sealed system, what you're saying, that just circulated the same?
I know there's two manifolds and all
Were these-
the lines come up.
Were these, with gonna run a boiler, it's gonna always be changing water within it.
It'd always be it'd be heating water.
It'd be heating water in the
Water
boiler.
be new water.
No.
Yes, I bet it will. If you're supplying it with your
Yeah, no.
other faucets.
Yeah, because they're talking about using it to run for your hot water supply.
Yeah, that's the way my system runs at home.
Well, it'll run hot, it'll replenish, but the stuff that runs through the floor and stuff.
It goes back into your house.
Yeah, but it'll go back into that hot water tank and
And then it comes to the faucets if I take a shower.
Yeah.
And then out in the system it goes and puts new water in.
Yeah, when it gets low, if it gets low.
If I turn on my hot water at home, if it wouldn't be for that back stop on it, it's up water out of that garage floor into my system. And as I use water, it puts new water into
Yeah,
that.
just like hot water heater,
Yeah,
especially the same one, it's got an additional loop going out, going through your floor.
And then that manifold back there's got zones if you want the middle bay to be.
I figured that had its own tank. On separate.
You can do that, a lot of
You can
people
do that.
places do.
mine's just got a different valve and a different pump.
Yeah. Just like a radiator, I mean, just like old radiators have, some people had 2 boilers where they could
Yeah.
turn on some of the radiators in the building, and some, you had to fire 2 boilers.
Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna wait for the other estimate, and then we need to gather what we wanna do.
Well, yeah, I think you need to come up with some specifics on what actually you're asking each of these companies to.
Do we want to replace the whole system, or
I'd say we get fixed what's broke, and I think that's the radiant heat.
Is how old is that system?
we moved in December 12th?
So it is 14.
Going to, you know.
But it's never been right.
What are they cooling with? Just a heat pump?
That forced air, that unit 2. If you read on the Good Arc one, the description,
So how are they gonna cool if they're disconnecting the geothermal? That's the
Forced.
question. You gotta have something to exchange the heat though. I mean, if you got a boiler,
Exchanger somewhere.
how are they planning to cool? Is there an existing heat pump to back up your geothermal now to cool? Because all they're talking about is replacing the heating element. But they gotta have something to cool the building too. If they're disconnecting the geothermal, that's what you're using to cool now. I'm not sure, that's why this one has including the heat pump. And they're talking about using a 5-ton heat pump.
so the one bid just wants to put a boiler in and keep the Good Arc, keep the other unit and use it to cool.
For cooling.
And then the RG bid is completely replace everything. That's the demolition, get rid of the old and put all new.
Okay.
Oh, so
Well, we're gonna see what those guys say tomorrow, and see if they need, they think the whole system needs to be replaced.
Go from there.
Okay, I can have some more information next Monday.
So if we get that estimate tomorrow, we'd like to see it.
I'll email it. Yeah, Marion never came. Yeah. So. But if y'all have any other suggestions,
Like I said, make note who you sent estimates out to, and so. We know who we contact
I can do that.
and who didn't respond.
For some reason I'm not getting, okay, here
Anything else, Kevin?
Jason, you have any?
we go. No, I'll make some phone calls first.
Okay.
thing in the morning. Max, is there access to the station tomorrow that I can get in if I need to be? Or no, I can't do it tomorrow. I can make some phone calls tomorrow.
See what you, yeah, let me, just call me or
I got a
whatever.
couple people of mine.
Sam Hastie's a great guy. Sam Hastie, you brought up Jim's Heating, Cooling, Refrigerator.
That's what I thought, Hasty down here?
Yeah, Hastie's great to work with. And he's done geothermal work too, so.
He's close.
He's familiar with geothermal systems too, I know.
Hasty down on 1200, just south of 1200, I think.
Yeah, he's on 600, well, yeah, he's on 1,000, his dad lives on
Yeah,
600.
I've been to
Just south, yeah,
south.
his dad's just south of 1,200 on, but
He's
he's,
600.
Sam handles it now, he's on 1,000 there. But he's good to work with.
If you want me to write a spec, I'll write a spec. I just need some help. Just spec it out.
Anybody else have anything? None, we can make that motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
First from Jason, a second from Mike, to adjourn the special meeting for tonight. Appreciate all those coming. And the vote, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Let me know if it passes 4-0.